Live in 5. Greetings, superior beings. Greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television, the channel RBC Hoffman FFN on YouTube. This is the broadcast. President Trump preserving nuclear deal to bomb facilities not in compliance? Question mark. So I've already covered it in my previous broadcasts. How to prevent a world war over Iran, which may be some people's goal. And there's this New York Times article, Trump signals he will choose approach on Iran that preserves nuclear deal. So let's read this first. That's like 20 seconds, and then the article.
Trump signals he will choose approach on Iran that preserves nuclear deal. New York Times 7 hours ago. Without the Iran nuclear deal, there would not be any excuse to bomb these facilities where Iran officials do not allow inspections, breaching the IAEA protocol of the Iran nuclear agreement. Israel has nukes. Shouldn't Israel be sanctioned as well? Iran is a party to the NPT but was found in non-compliance with its NPT Safeguards Agreement, and the status of its nuclear program remains in dispute. Iran and numerous Arab states have criticized Israel for not signing the NPT wiki/treaty_on-the non-proliferation of_nuclear_weapons. So shouldn't Israel be sanctioned for not signing the NPT? Are the missile shields 100% effective against whole nukes? Not ridding ourselves of these nuclear weapons is insane. We should work towards removing all weapons of self-destruction. Dismantling nukes is still cheaper than World War III and MAD. So what's ISIS gonna do? Deadly ISIL attacks hit southern Iraq's Thikar. Al Jazeera.com 9/15/2017. 18 soldiers killed in ISIL ambush in Egypt's Sinai. Al Jazeera.com September 11, 2017. So ISIS still exists, supposedly. So they are hitting themselves, killing their own people? Trump really is bombing the shit out of ISIS just like he promised Newsweek 16 hours ago. Trump signals he will choose approach on Iran that preserves nuclear deal, by David E. Sanger Sept. 14, 2017, NewYorkTimes.com. Iranians walked near a billboard in Tehran in June that featured portraits of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, left, and Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who died in 1989. Credit Atakuner, Agence France Presse, Getty Images. Washington. President Trump kept the Iran nuclear deal alive on Thursday as a critical deadline lapsed, a sign that he is stepping back from his threat to abandon an agreement he repeatedly disparaged. He is moving instead to push back on Iran's ambitions in the Middle East in other ways. Thursday's congressionally imposed deadline, to renew an exemption to sanctions on Iran suspended under the 2015 deal, was significant because had the president reimposed economic punishments on Iran, he would have effectively violated the accord, allowing Tehran to walk away and ending the agreement. But Mr. Trump was convinced by top cabinet members and aides that he would also blow up alliances and free Iran to produce nuclear weapons material. The move was more consequential than the decision the president faces in October about whether to recertify to Congress that Iran is in compliance with the deal, which has no effect on the nuclear agreement itself. Though Mr. Trump insisted that he has not settled on an overall Iran strategy and that he would announce one next month, administration officials said they were already trying to refocus on using military and economic leverage to counter Iran's growing influence in the Middle East. The approach, which aides said Mr. Trump came to reluctantly in a series of National Security Council meetings, is part of a pattern that has emerged in the president's attempts to keep his campaign promises, falling short in some cases, including on his hard line on immigration. Mr. Trump has portrayed the outcome as consistent with his stated objectives. Continue reading the main story-related coverage. Opinion op-ed contributor. Trump can make the most of a bad Iran deal. September 13, 2017. Arms control experts urge Trump to honor Iran nuclear deal. September 13, 2017. Trump may make Congress decide future of Iran nuclear deal. September 5, 2017. Contradicting Trump, UN. Monitor says Iran complies with nuclear deal. August 31, 2017. Returning to Washington on Air Force One on Thursday after touring hurricane-ravaged South Florida, Mr. Trump again criticized the Iran agreement, but he talked around the question of whether he would adhere to it. Instead, he promised other action against Iran. "We are not going to stand for what they're doing to this country," he told reporters. "They have violated so many different elements, but they've also violated the spirit of that deal. And you will see what we'll be doing in October. It will be very evident." The International Atomic Energy Agency has said Iran has complied with its commitments under the arrangement, including inspections. An approach that stops short of leaving the agreement is unlikely to satisfy its conservative critics, who attacked it as President Barack Obama's cave-in to Iran, an American adversary of nearly 4 decades. Nor does it promise to satisfy those who see the deal as a building block for engagement with Iran. Even Washington's closest ally, Britain, has openly split with those in the administration arguing to ditch the accord. At a news conference in London on Thursday with Secretary of State Rex W. Tillerson, Britain's Foreign Minister, Boris Johnson, noted that the North Korea crisis shows the importance of having arrangements such as the JCPOA. Using the acronym for the formal name of the agreement, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. He called it a position you and I have both adopted, underscoring Mr. Tillerson's now widely acknowledged disagreement with Mr. Trump over the importance of the deal. Mr. Johnson added that in Iran, a country of 80 million people, many of them young, potentially liberal, could be won over to a new way of thinking. He said that Iranians should see the economic benefits of the nuclear deal and that he had emphasized the point to Mr. Tillerson and other American officials. Mr. Trump's gradual movement on Iran has been seen as a bellwether of a foreign policy shift underway in the White House, especially since the ouster of Stephen K. Bannon, his former strategist. Mr. Bannon had made confrontation with China and Iran a central element of his approach to reasserting American preeminence around the world. 2 of the president's remaining advisors, Lieutenant Gen. H. R. McMaster, his national security advisor, and Defense Secretary Jim Mattis, are known for hawkish views on Iran. But they do not bring to the debate a sense that the United States is engaged in a clash of civilizations against the country or its ideology. Instead, they have pressed for a quiet escalation of economic and military pushback against Tehran's activities, including support for President Bashar al-Assad of Syria and terrorist groups as well as cyber attacks on American and Arab targets. The Treasury Department did announce new economic sanctions on Thursday against individuals associated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, the Quds Force, which is considered a channel to terrorist groups, and companies involved in hacking against American financial institutions in 2011 and 2012. In announcing the new sanctions, a senior administration official, who insisted on anonymity while briefing a large group of reporters, said that over the past few years, the United States had focused too narrowly on nuclear issues and ignored Iran's malign activities. But the administration made no mention of the 2016 indictment of 7 Iranians for their involvement in that hacking. It is unclear whether Mr. Trump can persuade his supporters to forget about promises to scrap the agreement, and to focus anew on extending it. Even advocates of the deal in the Obama administration admit to its shortcomings, including the failure to get Iran to give up whole enrichment of uranium, Iran's nuclear facilities remain open but are operating at very low levels. Iran's foreign minister, Mohammad Javad Zarif, tweeted on Thursday that the agreement he reached with his counterpart at the time, Secretary of State John Kerry, was not renegotiable. "A better deal is pure fantasy," he wrote. "About time for US to stop spinning and begin complying, just like Iran." Mr. Zarif will be in New York next week for the opening of the United Nations General Assembly, as will Mr. Tillerson. The two men have never met, nor talked, and there are no plans to change that. Mr. Trump plans to make concerted moves against Iran and North Korea, a centerpiece of his speech to the General Assembly on Tuesday, administration officials say, but it is unclear how specific he will get. As they slowly clear their way toward a policy, they clearly believe it is very important that the U.S. push back on the Iranians, Kenneth M. Pollack, a scholar at the conservative American Enterprise Institute, said of Trump administration officials on Thursday. But they appear to have concluded that rather than unravel the deal, they need to find ways to renegotiate elements of it, he added. Mr. Tillerson has argued that it is possible to both retain the existing deal and get allies on board for extending the duration of the restrictions on Iran's nuclear activities, while negotiating over Iran's development and testing of ballistic missiles. But he is clearly walking a fine line. It is possible, White House officials say, that Mr. Trump will stop short of blowing up the accord but still insist on declaring to Congress next month that Iran is violating its terms. Such a move would not affect the future of the agreement itself, while a reimposition of congressional sanctions would have violated its terms.
So, it's clear we'll have to get rid of them. Get rid of all these nukes. Dismantle them. All nuclear weapons worldwide. And that they are insane as long as they have these weapons of self-destruction. These WSD. So one idea is if they want these facilities inspected, they have to supply a list to the IAEA of suspect sites.
President Trump preserving nuclear deal to bomb facilities not in compliance.
Well, the other option is sanctions, and Iran could still decide to allow the inspections, of course, if they supply the IAEA with a list. then they may agree with the inspections if the IAEA agrees. But some people want to depopulate Earth to 500 million, and how else could they do that without nuclear weapons? They've tried Ebola and other things, didn't work. And some people are hell-bent on depopulating Earth to 500 million. So they might want to create mutually assured destruction and the 7-year nuclear winter. And they have that seed bank in Norway. But I'm happy that they are not getting rid of the nuclear deal, basically. I think that it decreases the chances of a nuclear world war, nuclear Armageddon. But still, many people think they've planned something because the Rothschilds have sold so many US assets and they've bought cancer oil in South America. Something that will drive the cancer oil prices up in the Middle East. Possibly sanctions or whatever. So perhaps it's best to just be prepared with that radiological water filter and storable food and focus on promoting achieving negligible senescence, promoting creating a cure against aging, controlling the factors that control aging. You can also say a cure for aging, but I'm not for aging, they are for aging, so that's why I changed it into cure against aging. It also has cure against aging in it, so I think most people don't want to age and die because of evolution. They want to survive and they have all these instincts, automatic, incredibly fast reactions to save their own life if necessary, all formed by evolution, which has also formed our brain and our body and all these living organisms in existence, except for the genetically modified ones, though the people that made those were also formed by evolution. And everything is energy. So, we had some rain, but now it's sunny again, like I predicted. It was just some door changed by the cloudbusters into Oregon. There we see some blue sky. So what else is happening? Perhaps it's better if we read some of this stuff. I'm going to take it from here.
Perhaps we should keep caps lock on because it's easier to read big letters. Also, to distinguish ourselves from the rest, use whatever works best to achieve our goals. Surfing on a rocking, we are all knowing. Epstein podesta Jimmy Savile. If I want to make the YouTube video by the following title, I must have statistics that prove that Jewish people are also overrepresented among the best paying jobs, not just in the mainstream media and universities. Planned YouTube video: Jewish racism, Jewish privilege. Overrepresented among best jobs. Top 1% will control over half of world's wealth by 2016. PBS.org Jan 19, 2015. 48% of U.S. billionaires are Jewish. Jewish Americans are the most powerful and influential ethnic group in America. Jewish Americans make up 2% of the U.S. population yet comprise 40% of U.S. billionaires. Politician.com. Possible depopulation methods to depopulate to 500 million and create a crisis big enough. 1. World war over Iran or further sanctions to drive cancer oil price up. 2. ISIS attacks, fake attacks with one shoe lying about and possibly one big one. Nuclear, biological, chemical and or other explosives, sarin etc. 3. Man-made earthquakes, ELF weapons, earthquake weapons, scalar weapons. They will never suspect the Yellowstone volcano eruption. 4. Storms generated with ionospheric heaters by modifying the jet stream. 5. Fake protests. Protesters doing it for money instead of a good cause. Paid by protestandemand.com, demandprotest.com and moveon.org. Slogan on banner should be, anti-global government, universal peace now, no blood for cancer oil, Yankee go home, or a big plate that says, fake. With an arrow pointing downward or at least an exclamation mark. So Hitler never used depleted uranium and tactical nukes. Only ISIS does these things, of course. Annoy or none, New Order, yes. But I doubt if Hitler wanted to get rid of 93% of the world's global population like these 6 Jews. Of course it's their reason not to get rid of their Jew-invented nuclear weapons. So it's clear they have the right to advocate depopulating the earth. Or what? Or not. Basically we are all mentally impaired compared to the neural network because of our limited neural capacity. Bummer, we still control the neural network. If ISIS would do chemical attacks worldwide, what would the most likely toxin be? Sarin? White phosphorus? Based on the using the FEMA camps to depopulate and introduce the deep state theory. Their high memes may be in my brain and they may be experimenting with erasing memory selectively. I saw a video with statistics that showed the Jewish people are overrepresented in all the best jobs, in the mainstream media, Hollywood, court, military, police, you name it. Please Skype me if you have a good source for statistics that prove this. They may selectively hide these statistics and a lot of other things since they control the search engines. We could work it all out, but what's the use when they exterminate us all anyway? Then it's better to have fun and have sex etc. And called who? End culture, multiple culturalisms. Zion is Zion in Hebrew. Matrix movie. Neo in chair. Only real people live in Zion. Matrix 1 quote. They are trying to prevent the agents from controlling the human mind, to destroy the Matrix. Reality, not a movie. Controller agents in chair in control of synthetic telepathy which can simulate any human. Project Immortality. The agent can think in the real person's voice. They can torture people remotely. It is like the agent or perpetrator is inside the person's body to silence the victims about the illegal depopulation with the voice of God weapon. They are ultra-sadistic and enjoy torturing innocent people to death because they are ultra-sadistic, hired to do smear campaigns, torture and tyrannize those of us that try to do the right thing. The neural network or matrix is not what they attempt to destroy but protect and serve. Is it possible the only real people live outside Zion where there is still a lower level of brain control going on? Are they trying to destroy 93% of us to make the Matrix, a simulated reality, a possibility by reducing the world's global population to a more controllable or totally brain-controllable number? Satanic inversion. Nazi eugenics. 6 Jews that want to depopulate Earth. 1. Rockefeller. 2. Professor Eric Bianca. 3. George Soros. 4. Dr. Kissinger. 5. Bill Gates. 6. Rothschild. Their book quotes and Georgia Guidestones with human blood on top prove it beyond any reasonable doubt. See info. Wars. Georgia Guidestones drone footage. The Matrix was first released in the United States on March 31, 1999, and grossed over $460 million worldwide. Jews depopulating Earth. Satire? Question mark. Or real? Latest depopulation agenda must see DC? ISIS scum call for jihad hits on Hurricane Harvey victims. Is the supposed ISIS terrorist that claim this arrested, or do they magically break free from your torture beam, death ray? ISIS terrorists have put out a call for jihadists to head to disaster areas in Texas and do whatever they can to put those outside the Islam faith out of their misery. It's a call for killings against the nation's vulnerable, and it came courtesy of the terror group's Telegram channel. To all the LMs, lone mujahids or warriors, in the U.S., Newsweek reported, citing Jihadoscope, pop down to Houston and drop in at any of the relief centers housing displaced people from the Houston floods. Make sure to bring lots of supplies/gadgets/toys to see if you can help put any cuffs out of their misery. Cuffs means disbeliever, those outside the Islam faith. ISIS scum call for jihad hits on Hurricane Harvey victims. Magical death ray torture beam escape? All 5 living former presidents launch appeal for help for Harvey victims. CNN. Making themselves look like the do-gooders instead of the hurricane and earthquake creators, of course. That would be what they attempt to do if it's true. Iran nuclear deal framework. Haley outlines how President can reject Iran nuclear deal. Charleston Post Courier September 8, 2017. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley hints at Congress' role in making call on Iran nuclear deal. Wall Street Journal September 6, 2017. After California got rid of personal exemptions for vaccines, medical exemptions went way up. Hellatimes.com. There are loads of anti-NWO movements, real and fake ones, but only one anti-global government movement, AGGM. When you want to cure a disease, you have to get rid of the cause and not just treat the symptoms with chemical, cancer-causing prescription drugs. I am anti-Nazi in the sense that I am anti-racism and anti-homophobia, but I agree on the more important point that these 6 Jews that want to depopulate the earth and non-Jews helping them must be stopped one way or another. Universal peace now. Probably they will sanction Iran. They want to keep their own infrastructure, thus to avoid World War III and create universal peace. Anonymous hereby thanks Ulrich B.C. Hoffman for allowing the YouTube space for the broadcast. If you put a balloon in a vacuum chamber, it will pop when the air is pumped out. So why does an astronaut's space suit not pop when flying into outer space or walking on the moon? It is likely space is actually water, liquid. That's complete bullshit. Made up to hide the bubbles coming from fake astronauts' space suits. Boats move by pushing water, cars move by pushing the ground, planes fly by moving the air molecules around the wing to lift it up, spaceships fly by pushing nothingness. They see the space debris coming in on the cancer radar probably. Abracagaza. Racist dance. Anonymous's darkest message bombed the pedo elite murderers depopulating Earth. 132 crop.jpg. Holocaust, Holodomor, Holopoint bullets. Space travel is impossible for humans. Dance. Dance and lick dick. Listen to the rhythm of your soaked. Dance. Dance and lick dick. Better love each other. It's almost time to coke. Proof Trump and all 2016 presidential candidates are Masonic CFR-controlled opposition slaves. 2016 presidential candidates are Masonic CFR-controlled opposition slaves. 80% of the first Soviet government members were Jews. Putin during a visit to Moscow's Jewish Museum. Jan 24, 2016, uploaded by Russia Insider. The people with the directed energy torture weapons and synthetic telepathy machine have control, the rest have none and are controlled. Is the white race under attack? Does anyone care? YouTube, Kesha is Jewish. Home, Facebook is Kesha Jewish, because she mentions Jewish stuff in her songs. She sang the lyrics "I am cannibal and drank blood from a human heart" live on stage. She also admitted that the stunt she pulled in Australia where she appeared to drink blood out of a human heart was real. "I did it on stage in Sydney. I think I was hanging out with Alice Cooper too much. I was just really inspired to do it. There wasn't a very good reason behind it." PressParty.com. What is BDS? The boycott, divestment, sanctions, BDS movement works to end international support for Israel's oppression of Palestinians and pressure Israel to comply with international law. BDSmovement.net. New York Times. Know the world. Honest. String. Does end mean a thing? Walmart. Walgreens found selling chemical used to manufacture deadly nerve gas weapons based on Nazi science research. Whoa. First they bought 1.6 billion rounds of ammo. Now Homeland Security is buying bulk riot control gear. They know what's coming. InvestmentWatchBlog.com. War on Fair. A woman. The neural network itself is lifeless. It has no conscience. The ingredients for making sarin, a super powerful deadly nerve agent, are well known across the chemical industry, and widely documented on the Internet, including at scientificamerican.com, as you'll see below. They are dimethylmethylphosphonate, phosphorus trichloride, sodium fluoride, alcohol. A writer for Scientific American actually ordered these ingredients online for a grand total of $130.20 and acquired enough materials to manufacture 280 grams of deadly nerve gas. The 280 grams of sarin that the Scientific American author could have manufactured for $130.20 could be used to kill over 10,000 people. Sarin nerve gas was originally developed by war criminal Nazi scientists at IG Farben. When the U.S. military finally decided to start reducing its stockpiles of sarin nerve agents in the 1970s, it dumped tens of thousands of tons of it into the oceans as part of Operation Chase. Sodium fluoride contains fluorine atoms, and fluorine is the key component in the manufacture of deadly nerve gas as described above. It also happens to be used in many mind-altering psychiatric drugs that interfere with normal brain function, and make some people suicidal. Naturalnews.com. As a nerve gas, sarin in its purest form is estimated to be 26 times more deadly than cyanide. The LD50 of subcutaneously injected sarin in mice is 172 micrograms per kilogram. Wiki /sarin #toxicity. White phosphorus is a material made from the common allotrope of the chemical element phosphorus that is used in smoke, tracer, illumination, and incendiary munitions. White phosphorus was used by Saddam Hussein during the Halabja poison gas attack. Gaza War, 2008 to 2009. The International Committee of the Red Cross said it had no evidence white phosphorus was used by Israel illegally. Numerous reports from human rights groups during the war indicated that white phosphorus shells were being used by Israel in populated areas. White phosphorus can cause injuries and death in 3 ways: by burning deep into tissue, by being inhaled as a smoke, and by being ingested. Extensive exposure by burning and ingestion may result in death. Long-term inhalation of derivative fumes causes a condition called phossy jaw or osteonecrosis of the jaw, which is a painful, debilitating and ultimately lethal condition that afflicted factory workers involved with the manufacture of matches that contained white phosphorus. Article 1 of Protocol 3 of the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons prohibits the use of said incendiary weapons against civilians, already forbidden by the Geneva Conventions, or in civilian areas. Within the U.S. Army, there appears to be conflicting advice on the use of white phosphorus against humans. Directed energy weapons are more humane and effective, though white phosphorus is still used in modern armed conflict. Its use in incendiary weapons is regulated by international humanitarian law, or the law of war. The use of white phosphorus should be a war crime because of its inhumanness, and it should never be used against civilians. Fuck war, universal peace now. You would need a gas mask with an NBC filter to survive nuclear, biological and chemical weapon attacks in aerosol form. Decontaminate, was away with water. Cut parts of effective clothing away. Keep your atropine injector ready. Chemical weapons are invisible. It is best to put your gas mask on before symptoms manifest. Remember, unmasking is a command procedure. The Jesuits started the Russian Revolution, not the Jews. Wake us from slumber. 1834 views. Korthoff Juden Jews, wholly owned by the Jesuits for centuries. A plain at Truth.info. 9688 views. Jesuits, Sons of Satan. Guy Caballero. 689 views. Unprotected groups must also be protected. They have paid tax money to be protected and served. Execute murderers that advocate depopulating the earth first. A fair trial is impossible because synthetic telepathy and directed energy torture weapons are real. What the Jews done to Athens, is what the Jews are doing to Olarian democracies today. Smile Asahim Wolfgard. 506 views. Executive orders. They really believe they are educated, but in reality they have been brainwashed with lies. They cannot control their own brainwave because it's electromagnetic. I am not for boycotting Israel but for boycotting all Monsanto companies worldwide. So where are the statistics that show what percentage of the best jobs is taken by Jewish people? What do I have to search on? Jewish forced sterilization on black Ethiopian Jews. Starmanger 4 years ago. 93,408 views. The Beasler. All Christians are Jew lovers. The same fictional God. These may be ideas put in their brains by the neural network. More important than Jesus's anti-Semitism. Judaism. Gay goy guy game. Silenced on the islands. Samite SM. Debating the Holocaust illegal? To find out who's the dictator, look at what is censored. My comment to the video, new website, It's the Jews. Check it out at www.itsthejews.com. It's best to be prepared with a radiological water filter and storable food, peanut butter, rice, peas. For the third Jew-founded Jesuit world war, over Iran, there is no good reason not to prepare. If you are in a big city, you need a shelter to stay below the blast wave. I need more people for my anti-global government movement. Loyola was a crypto Jew. Their shield has wolves on it. That's why Alex calls us sheeple. Do not let controlled opposition fool you. From the website itsthejews.com's What You Need to Know first page, some points with my response to these points on there. Jews admit there was no Holocaust. I doubt it. Most do not. Controlled opposition might. Questioning the Holocaust is a crime. No, it's an illegal law. Debating the Holocaust should be legit. Antifa are fascist haters. Truth does not fear investigation. Free speech. Good point. But the right to free speech is not absolute. You cannot go accusing the people depopulating you. Lol. Itsthejews.com. They are the Jews. It's known. There are many non-Jews involved in depopulating Earth as well. And those of us that expose this most atrocious crime ever perpetrated against humanity. It's the Jews sounds more like a smoothie commercial to me. Thesog.info. Many people are in prison right now for simply disagreeing with the official Jewish story of the Holocaust. So it's proven beyond any reasonable doubt 6 million Jews did not die in the Holocaust, but you still go to jail if you tell the truth about it? Even if you are an 80-year-old lady? In some countries. Probably. Whites themselves have been enslaved by the millions, throughout European history, by the Jewish slave trade. subvertednation.net/JewListSanktitrators.com. It's wrong to blame old Jewish people for something a couple of evil Jews have done. Not all Jews are Luciferian cannibals depopulating the earth slurping blood. The page Jews admit there was no Holocaust contains 2 YouTube videos. 1. Jewish professor Da Mergu says Holocaust complete fake. When I click on it, the message, "This content is not available on this country" domain appears. 2. Former religious Jew on Holocaust myths, a Brother Nathaniel Foundation video. So the idea is, you have to believe, otherwise you could expose their voice of God weapon. People that are stupid enough to believe can also expose it. However, they are helping to cover for the voice of God weapon with their lie that there is a God to make it easier to depopulate the earth. Perhaps we should hate all believers and Jews because that's what they do not allow. Hating is worse than depopulating in their eyes. In the eyes of the judges, I mean. Depopulating is allowed. Anti-Semitism and racism are not. Deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA, is an American immigration policy established by the Obama administration in June 2012. The policy allows some individuals who entered the country illegally as minors to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action from deportation and eligibility for a work permit. As of 2017, approximately 800,000 individuals, referred to as Dreamers after the DREAM Act bill, were enrolled in the program created by DACA. In 2017, President Trump decided to end it. How many of the Dreamers are still children, and what percentage of them is criminal? Eco-tax money scam. ISIS wants to get Jews. Illegal alienation. Statements based on the video, things Donald Trump has said about the Pope. CNN.com. They're jokes. It's satire. Fake news or fake nukes? Yes, you weeds. Harpicanes and harpquakes. The pop jewels. The meek shall inherit the urns. Heather Heyer died by a heart attack. The MSM lied, again. Lauren Rose 5,669 views. There was a forensic report. It says not consistent with vehicular homicide. Rumor has it, she was on top of the car hood. While she was attacking the car, she might have been hit by a baseball bat. James Field's car had been hit by a brick and a pole before the crash. There is a lot more to this story. The only video shown on the news was from a deep state operative. It has been highly edited. There were helicopters on opposite ends of that alley. Maybe one of those helicopters had video of what actually happened and coincidentally crashed. The driver of the first vehicle has never been interviewed, and this report from forensics has never been released. The helicopter chase from the scene has never been released, etc. My feeling is, everyone there was threatened with prosecution if they talked. Comment by Wishgrant Lotus on reddit.com. Stlama 2 points 4 days ago. According to her mother, she died of a heart attack. Mach 9. It looked like the guy performing CPR killed her. Ducademia. Nuts. ZionCrumFactory.com has disappeared like DailyStormer.com and Stormfront.org and can still be found with CachédPages.com. Just click on a date like March 3, 2013 to get a working version of the website. Under the heading My Video Productions, we read the titles of the following videos: History They Don't Teach, Jewish Terrorism. History They Don't Teach, Jewish Bolshevism. Jewish Communists, Butchers from Hell. Holocaustianity, Zionism's Big Lie. Kosher Sionspiracy Theorists. The Only Conspiracy That Makes Sense, Jewish War Against Gentiles. The Jewish Final Solution to Germans and Other Gentiles. These videos may still be available on YouTube or on the web. Header of the website reads, "The truth shall set you free. The opposite may be true." Subjects divided in the following categories: JWO Unmasked, Masters of Deception, Patriot lies about Hitler and the 6 million myth. The Holocaust, myth. Nuclear deal in danger? World War III? 3 new MSM articles. Israeli Intel Minister, suspend amend annul. My latest YouTube videos on the Iran nuclear deal and Iran not allowing inspections. Nuclear deal in danger? World War III? 3 new MSM articles. Israeli Intel Minister, suspend amend annul. Additional protocol to the International Atomic Energy Agency safeguards nuclear agreement. IAEA 12/9/2017. Fascism is a form of radical authoritarian nationalism, characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and control of industry and commerce. Fascists believe that liberal democracy is obsolete, and they regard the complete mobilization of society under a totalitarian one-party state as necessary to prepare a nation for armed conflict and to respond effectively to economic difficulties. Two fasces, the symbol of fascism. In Congress, two fasces appear on either side of the flag of the United States behind the podium in the United States House of Representatives, and were added to the chamber's decor during the remodeling project of 1950. It's right there, in plain view, and nobody says a thing. Because it doesn't represent fascism. Reddit.com. The Grand Seal of Harvard University inside Memorial Church is flanked by two inward-pointing fasces. My new theory is that they will succeed at creating their crisis big enough, since creating a crisis and killing people is a lot easier than creating an economic surge and making everybody eternal, or not. Video. Trump playing a risky game on Iran nuclear deal. CNN fake news article review. According to Richard S. Patterson and Richardson Dougal, a new ad coeptus, meaning favor our undertakings, and the other motto on the reverse of the Great Seal, Novus Ordo Seclorum, meaning New Order of the Ages, can both be traced to lines by the Roman poet Virgil. The pedo-Jews depopulating the earth are unsubscribing people from various YouTube channels to depopulate the earth. Several people have reported about this. So they pretend to be rabbis, Christians and Muslims, believers, but in reality they are Freemasons, and all Freemasons are Luciferians. And there are many of them. YouTube Jews covertly censoring truth channels. False or true? YouTube unsubscribing people? COG continuity of government. Those terms of service. Why can't I be you? Why can't I eat you? Why can't I do you? All their deters. These annoying criminal leftist elements must be removed. Fighting the info fart. On the morning of March 22, 2016, 3 coordinated suicide bombings occurred in Belgium. Wiki/2016_Brussels_bombings. The date 322 is not only the emblem of America's leading CIA Freemasonic elite group, Skull and Bones. 322 is also the culmination of the 3-day satanic feast of Pelusa, consisting of, get this, the invocation of Isis. Humancerfree.com. The Tom Cruise movie Jack Reacher has a cancer-causing tachinatorless car in it with 2 stripes on it, like the Charlottesville car had visible on some of the pictures and did not have any in the videos. I have not verified this yet. The movie just reminded me of it. Some claim the car was driven by a police officer and that his badge was visible. Also, in the video we see the driver was wearing a white shirt, but the person that was arrested, possible patsy, was wearing a black and white striped shirt on the mugshot. Dodge Challenger missing stripes in Charlottesville, hoax or red herring? The following web page shows a picture of the car with the stripes and they claim this is the Charlottesville car in the article. timesofisrael.com/Charlottesville car ramming suspect idolized Hitler Nazism. Ex-teacher says dailymail.co.uk also shows a picture of the damaged car with the black stripes on the hood. dailymail.co.uk/news Article 4785246/moment car hits crowd Charlottesville rally.html. The same Daily Mail web page shows a video of the car being attacked and trying to get away from the attackers with the baseball bat, but the car in the video is missing these black stripes on the hood! Exclamation marks. And a screenshot of the Charlottesville car video with the stripes missing, all on the same page. Fascinating. Charlottesville car pictures or video fake? Missing stripes, similar car in Tom Cruise movie verified. ACO on the stairway to have fun. Maybe may not be. Okay everybody, save each other. An Iran war is coming, by Cancer oil stocks now seeking alpha.com article review WW3 prep, NS. Day/MI5 blocking broadcasts. OBS disconnected. Internet connection not working from time to time. Department of Holland Security. Deep state thought, Zog my cog. Continuity of government instead of continuity of society. Zionist occupied government, a deep state, a deep, went away, a flame, throw her. Internal offers. 33rd degree Freemasons exposed and all controlled by the high-level Jesuits. Slimzy Majan 3 years ago 15,662 views. Zoggy and Coggy.
So, I do not promote anti-Semitism in any way, and the sources are on the pictures usually of these anti-Semitic, and you have to judge for yourselves if these are anti-Semitic images or not. Singalese are welcome for the free shiatsu hand massage. Well, there's not much happening, I guess.
Story image for ISIS from The Guardian. Moscow flaunts might against fading ISIS as it alters balance of. The Guardian 3 hours ago. The operation to destroy the fighters of the ISIS and Jabhat al-Nusra terrorist groups on Syrian territory will continue until they're complete. And Russian submarines fire 7 cruise missiles at ISIS militants. The Independent 20 hours ago. Russian military, not U.S., to lead battle for ISIS's final major city in Newsweek. 10 hours ago. U.S. military, American fighting for ISIS surrenders. Highly cited Daily Beast. 12 hours ago. U.S.-backed forces capture ISIS stronghold in eastern Deir local source MN Al-Masdar News, registration -12 hours ago. 2 Russian submarines fire cruise missiles from Mediterranean. International RT 20 hours ago. Russian submarines fire 7 cruise missiles at ISIS militants. Strikes from eastern Mediterranean are latest effort in assault on Deir ez-Zor stronghold. Independent.co.uk. A Russian submarine fires a cruise missile toward ISIS forces in Syria. Russian Defense Ministry. Russian submarines have fired 7 cruise missiles at ISIS militants in Syria, Russia's defense ministry reportedly said. The craft were operating in the eastern Mediterranean, news agencies said, and used Calibre missiles to strike targets in the suburbs of Deir ez-Zor, in Syria's east. The targets were command posts, communication centers, as well as militants' weapons and ammunition stockpiles in areas of southeast Deir ez-Zor under the control of Islamic State, the ministry said. "19 hours ago Rubalcali. I'm surprised the Israelis haven't gone after the Russian subs fighting ISIS as they have attacked others fighting ISIS." Reply share 3 replies, +7 19 hours ago Bill 545. I'm surprised someone as stupid as you can write. Rubalcali. I'm guessing you are unaware Israel attacks those fighting ISIS and Al-Qaeda, al-Nusra. They even treat their wounded in Israel before reinserting them into Syria. Share, +8 17 hours ago Max Headroom. They're not that stupid. Truth told, at least Russia is focused on fighting the terrorists, while the US still supports them and is trying to seize the Syrian oil fields. "7 days ago. Several ISIS commanders killed in Syria by latest US and Russian bombing. 5 or 6 top commanders killed as ISIS struggles on 2 fronts in battles for Raqqa and besieged town of Deir ez-Zor. The Syrian army and militias loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad managed to break through ISIS defenses for the first time on Tuesday, Reuters.
Okay, I think that this is it now for this broadcast, so I'll temporarily halt this broadcast for universal peace.